topic today is finance, kind of. Alright, so basically, kiddos, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is do really well in school and try to get good grades so that you can get a scholarship so that you are not in a massive amount of debt right after you get out of school. Because right after you get out of school, you're not really going to be able to find a job that helps you to pay off all that debt and school loans. School loan debt is very difficult, and I'm going to be quite honest. If you don't get a school loan, mommy and daddy are not going to be able to pay for it. Because there are people out there who have rich parents who can pay for it. I am not that person. And my parents weren't either. So I worked my butt off during school so that at the end of the whole thing I was offered scholarships and I didn't have to pay anything to go to college. They just offered me a full ride. I did have to come up with some money for room and board, maybe some books here and there, but for the most part my actual college education was paid for and I didn't have to take out any loans. Now, I'm not saying anything about, people who have to take out loans being bad or anything. It's just, economically speaking, if you can get away from that, that's the best way to do it. If you don't want to go to college, there is nothing wrong with that, but you have to have a plan. So I am okay with you not going to college, but you have to have a plan for what you're going to do after you get out of high school. You can't just be out of high school and do nothing. You can't be a loafer. You have to have some kind of job. So you don't necessarily have to leave the house right away. Like if you need to live with us so that you can earn money to buy a house or whatever, that's one thing, but there's no way you're gonna just live at the house without a job. Got it? So your job is either going to be going to school or your job is going to be a job. What's that? You're talking to yourself. What are you saying to yourself? Oh my god, this thing is so slow. So, my parents didn't really have this money discussion with me when I was younger, and I think it would have helped a lot if I had learned from a young age how to kind of handle money better, budgeting and all that. I still don't really know how to do it. I mean, I understand the concept of a budget, but to actually sit down and do the budget and make the money perform for me the way it's supposed to, can't really wrap my head around that yet, but I am working on it, and eventually I can get out of debt. But I don't want you guys to even get into debt. The only debt that is acceptable, possibly, is a house and potentially cars. At first it's going to be really difficult, but at the same time, if you really try to work and save money for a car, you can buy a car outright. Because, you don't have to go and buy a brand new car, right? If you buy a used car, obviously you got to make sure that it's a good, well-working used car. You can get one for a few thousand. It's got to obviously be a much older model, but you just, you need something that'll get you to go around. So, there's that. Just, everyday life lesson or whatever. I wish I had saved up money so that I could just go and buy a car outright, but I am now in this position where I have to have these loans out to pay for the Tesla, to pay for the Soul, and it's kind of stressful, to be quite honest. My job cut back on a lot of my overtime hours, and that's where I was making a lot of money for a while, and now I'm not making that money anymore, so I'm down all that money. YouTube, of course, doesn't pay me squat.
Give you a few points or so.
You gonna give me a couple coins? Put a couple coins on the house. Sadly, my love, 1 penny doesn't do much of anything. A penny is definitely not worth what it used to be. Do you know back in the day, with just 1 single penny, you could at least buy like a couple of pieces of candy?
What?
Yeah, they were called penny candies, and you could even get more than one. It'd be like 5 for a penny. That was back when money was worth a lot more. Now, with inflation and everything just costs so much more. It's a lot more difficult to live your life without debt these days. It really is, unfortunately. But, we're figuring it out. We're living paycheck to paycheck like most of America, but we're not as bad off as some people are. I wish we were better off, of course. Who doesn't? But if I can teach you guys about money and how to budget and all that stuff now from a young age, it's something that sticks with you a lot easier, and you can learn how to actually utilize it, versus me learning about it as an adult and having to try to implement it. It's a little bit harder because it's like that whole thing about teaching an old dog new tricks. Well, that's a new trick for me, and it's really hard. And I'm definitely an old dog. But the first step, and I was very fortunate that I was at least good enough at school and everything that was one of the debts that I didn't get into, because Lord knows, I very well could have just gotten into the whole student loan problem. And mommy still has friends that are still in the middle of paying off all of these high dollar amount student loans they've got to deal with. And I mean, yeah, and like, I don't know if Auntie Alex has finished paying hers off yet, but she even had some of her college paid for. She only had like a third that she needed to pay, or 2/3, I don't know, but she had some of it covered by a scholarship, but she still had some of it that she had to do a loan on, and I'm not sure if she's still paying on that or not. But if she is, I mean, she graduated in 2007, and it's 2024. So 17 years of student loan payments? That's insane. Like,
Off topic, but I found a baby mom in the classroom.
okay.
Why?
You're so silly. So anyway, yeah. So my mom and dad were always on me about my grades and everything like that, and I'm not really on you guys about that, really. I just want you to do well. But you have to also realize that what doing well means for you. It means being able to go to college for free, basically, or at least the educational part. I mean, we may still have to supplement some of it, but that's not a big deal. The actual education costs are absolutely insane. So that's what we're trying to avoid. So Jelly, if you don't want to go to college, though, I mean, you're in 6th grade. That's still 6 years away, and you're going to be in 7th. But that's still 6 years away. I decided I was going to go to NAU in 7th grade. So these people from NAU came down to my junior high and did like some kind of presentation about NAU, and I was like, nope, that's where I'm going. So in 7th grade, I decided where I was going and that I was going to college. What I was going to study, I still wasn't sure yet, but and that's the other thing. I have a college degree in a degree that I'm not using. Thankfully, it was free, and thankfully, it's good that I just have a degree, because a lot of places ask for you to have a degree, even if it's in nonsense. It could be in basket weaving. They don't really care. They just want you to have a degree. My degree is basically basket weaving. It's criminal justice. It's like everybody gets a criminal justice degree. I have a criminal justice degree. A criminal justice degree major with a minor in psychology. I think the psychology would have been fun. Like I could have been like a therapist or something. I don't know. But
Criminal justice with your acting and
well, that's not really criminal justice. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's no. Because it's a script. I'm not solving anything. I'm not doing anything. I have nothing to really do with. But you know, I love my crime shows. But anyway, so Jelly, if you don't think you're going to be going to college, what are you going to be doing after you get out of school?
Why do I have to answer this?
Because you need to have a plan. If you don't know now, it's something you need to think about and know for later. You can't just all of a sudden be 18, graduating high school, and then you're like, oh no, I don't have a plan. That's not going to work.
What is it?
Well, then what is it? Well, what's the plan? You've never told me the plan before.
Why do I have to tell you the plan?
Because I'm your mom and I should know this. But anyway. We're going to the drive-thru now. Bye, guys.
Bye.